My name is Maria. I am part of the admissions team. I'm an admissions manager for the full-time MBA program here at RSM. I take care primarily of the Americas region. I'm originally from Greece, but I do live in the Netherlands for quite some time. It's been now 11 and a half years, so I consider myself partially a Dutchie. And you've already heard her. Together with me, I have my good colleague, Cristina Mirabet. Hi, Cristina.
Hello everyone. So yes, my name is Cristina. I'm coming from Barcelona, Spain. I've been working at RSM for a little bit more than 2 years, and I'm admissions officer for the full-time MBA. So my main responsibility is to assist the candidate to make sure that you will have a smooth admissions process along the way. And I will be here to assist you right from you submit your application until you register to the program. And let's move on to our agenda for today.
Perfect, indeed. Today we will be discussing the details regarding our international full-time MBA program, so we hope that you'll find it useful. We have prepared a few slides for you during today's presentation. We'll be talking a little bit about the city of Rotterdam, where RSM is located in our MBA program. After that, we'll go into details regarding the curriculum of the MBA, so what is included during your academic year. We'll have a look at our current class profile to see who classmates could be next year. And we'll let you know about student activities. So what other extracurricular activities are there for you to get to know to your fellow classmates other than meeting in the lecture rooms, of course. We'll be covering some things regarding your post-MBA career opportunities, because of course we consider how important it is. Quite a lot of you might be already considering doing an MBA program in order for you to boost up your career. So we'll be covering a lot of details on that. And last but not least, we'll be discussing about the admissions criteria for our MBA program and also the application process. So what is necessary for you to have in your profile in order to be eligible, and also what do you have to do to start with your MBA application and eventually submit it. And hopefully towards the end of our presentation, we will have plenty of time to cover any questions you might be having regarding our MBA program. So feel free and please make sure to stay active during our presentation, type those questions in the Q&A box and comments, and we'll get back to them by the end of the presentation. Some of the questions might be answered already while as we go along and letting you know more information during the slides, but for the ones that we haven't covered during the presentation, we'll hopefully make sure that we answer those. Right. Facts about Rotterdam. We have prepared a few little details about Rotterdam, hopefully so that you can get to know the city a bit better. It's the second largest city in the Netherlands. It does have about 680,000 inhabitants, if I'm not mistaken. And although it is the second largest city in the Netherlands, you can cross it from one side to the other with your bike in 45 minutes. Using the bike, it's really common in the Netherlands. Some of you must have already read it online. The city has a very good transportation system. It's very lively in terms of cultural activities, a lot of international restaurants in there. And it has the largest port in Europe, which makes it a major center for logistics and economics. Also, it's one of the main reasons why a lot of global businesses are located in the city of Rotterdam. More than 170 nationalities call it a home. So you can imagine that it's quite a multicultural place to live. You do hear English quite often when you walk in the streets of the city. And that gives it also a certain charm, absolutely. And it is a city that boasts the most modern skyline in the country. Some of you maybe have had the chance to visit the city, so you must have noticed really modern architecture. It's quite different than maybe other major cities in the Netherlands. This comes primarily due to the fact that Rotterdam was bombarded completely during the Second World War. And of course, through this tragic event, the population decided to use it as an opportunity to create a very modern city. And out of this came Rotterdam as we know it. So a very interesting city for the ones who are interested in a modern contemporary architecture. So we've told you where our program is located and what are you going to do during your MBA year. That's also very important, of course. Our MBA program is a one-year program. It always starts in January and it ends in December, a little bit before the Christmas holidays most of the time. We have the program divided into 5 modules. Now, some of you might have the slightly older version of our brochure, where you see that it's divided in 4 terms. Basically, this change has helped, especially during the first part of your MBA program, when you'll be getting the bulk of your academic knowledge with regards to business administration, for our students to have a bit of a smoother, a bit more organic process in the terms that they are receiving the knowledge from their basic courses. So you build upon the knowledge that you're getting in Module 1 to Module 2 and Module 3 and so on. So as I mentioned before, during Module 1, 2, and 3, you will be building the foundations of your knowledge in business administration. So you'll be dealing with courses such as strategic management, financial management, qualitative platform for business, so you can make sure that you bring data analytics and statistics in your life. And then in Module 2, you go further into more core courses such as operations management, organizational behavior, so the human factor in business, marketing management, financial management too. And in Module 3, we have our innovation management, sustainability will be covered as well, the economic environment of business and HR management. And the Module 3 closes with our living management project. Each of the 3 modules ends with an exam period, and later on you move to Module 2 and Module 3 accordingly. So the living management project, it's also good to mention that is considered by quite a lot of our students one of the highlights of the program, because it is a very good moment for our students to use all the knowledge that they have built during the first part of their MBA and put it into practice. It's a group project, so our cohort is divided into smaller diverse groups, and you will be helping a company for 1 month long into with a problem that they're currently having and have reached out to RSM and request the help and the expertise of our students. So you will be acting as consultants for the company, and you will be concluding the project with a presentation you will be having in front of the company representatives and faculty staff. Throughout Module 1, Module 2 and Module 3, you'll be also working with case studies, and this will already allow you from a very early stage of the program to practice the knowledge that you will be getting from each course. Quite a lot of our case studies are linked to the sustainability goals of the United Nations. So sustainability is from a very early stage brought quite smoothly into the program. From Module 4 to Module 5 is where you have a chance to customize your MBA journey. Module 4 is primarily focused on you choosing one of our 5 advanced career courses, which is in finance, marketing, strategy, supply chain management, and sustainability. And then you delve deeper into these concepts. During Module 4, we also have our study trip and our project time added. The study trip is basically an opportunity for our students to really gain this international exposure that we would like them to have during our MBA program. So it's one of the opportunities that are given for them to do so. It's a 1 week, 5 days to 1 week trip to certain destinations. The destinations for each year are being reviewed by our program management team and are adjusted accordingly. During this week, you'll be visiting a destination that you have chosen that is linked to a specific topic. For example, if someone, taking as an example the study trips we had last year, if someone is interested in marketing, they would choose to go to Barcelona. If someone is interested in the entrepreneurial world and startups, would go to Athens, Greece. if someone is interested in green economy, they would go to Iceland, to Reykjavik. So you see that there's a diversity in the destinations as well. And you will be finding out firsthand, how do people do business around the world. This is I think the core idea behind the study trip. You'll be engaging with different stakeholders, businesses, professors from partner universities of RSM. So you will have the possibility to really ask your questions and see how do certain stakeholders tackle certain issues that they might be having in different geographies around the world. Our project time is always linked with the aspect of sustainability. And of course, it ties up with the mission of the school of being a force of positive change. So it's again a group activity, a group project. So the cohort is again divided into smaller groups. And with your group, you will try to work on a concept, so a project or a product that is related to sustainability. To give you an example from last year again, our students had to work with a broader concept of one of the sustainability goals of the United Nations, which was sustainable communities and cities. And the focal point was the city of Rotterdam. So again, they got the chance to interact with local businesses and help them out to tackle any issues they were having, as to really implement sustainability into the way that the businesses are organized, or in the way that they produce. And after the end of project time, you move forward to module 5, where you do your electives. We do have a very attractive list of more than 30 electives every year. These are also being reviewed by our program management team, and there could be slight changes to the list. And you choose 3 out of those. And it's also important to mention that some of our students would like to have the information of a certain concentration mentioned in their diploma once they graduate. So in order for you to achieve that, you would have to combine the advanced concentration course that you took in module 4 with the right elective. So for example, if someone wants to have a concentration of finance written on their diploma, and they make sure that together with the advanced course, they choose the right 3 electives that are connected to finance. Some other people decide to do a mix and match of information and courses, just because there are really interesting topics to discover, and they take that opportunity throughout the MBA year. And of course, last but not least, we have mentioned here our post-MBA transition. And I will go in a bit also to 2 more really important aspects of our MBA year, which is the personal leadership development and coaching. So I will do that. I will let you know a little bit about the way that our Career Development Center is involved, because it's also linked to the last part of our slide here. We do have a career center that is heavily involved throughout the whole academic year. Our students from day 1 are being connected to a career coach, and they have different sessions, group and individual sessions throughout the whole year. First of all, to assist them to make a viable plan as to where they would like to see themselves during the progress of the MBA journey, and also after they graduate, as to make sure that they connect to the right people. So alumni that might have been working or have worked in companies of their interest, or certain companies that are recruiting or participating in projects through RSM. And as we go throughout the year, there is also a focus on preparing them for their interviews, their negotiation skills, making sure that they have everything that's necessary to be competitive in the job market once they complete their MBA program. And of course, we have also platforms such as the Mentor Me program, which is basically a mentoring program. So alumni that have, for example, completed the MBA program of RSM could assist current students, or also past graduates of the program, and help them out with industry-specific education, so information about certain industries or roles in specific companies that they might have experience in, and also prep them for interviews, or discuss certain concerns they might be having about a career switch they have in mind. And you must have noticed, of course, I mentioned it also before, our personal leadership development program that is the only part actually of the curriculum that runs throughout the whole year. We have sessions of it throughout the whole year. And there's a main reason for that, because at RSM, our MBA program, we do believe that in order to be an inspiring leader, you really have to work on your soft skills, your self-reflection, to make sure that you listen to your team, you know how to handle also diverse teams and the challenges, but also the opportunities that this brings. So these sessions, you'll be working very closely with your professor and your fellow classmates, challenge yourself and your classmates as well to become more self-reflective, understand a few things about yourself that maybe you didn't have the chance to know. And it happens really often. So of course, we get focused in our career and we forget to really invest time in our own personal development. So this is what the personal leadership development is going to offer you definitely. And also throughout the whole MBA year, you will learn a few things, of course, on an academic level, but it will mostly amaze you about the amount of information that you didn't know about yourself and you managed to discover throughout this whole year. So there are plenty of things going on. It is a full year, and you see also there that there is no internship mentioned in our slide. This is because it's not a mandatory part of our curriculum. Quite a lot of our students, and of course they are encouraged by our career center, they try to do an internship either by the end of the program in December or during the time that they have their electives, also because it's not very heavy in terms of class attendance. You still have a lot of work to do, but some people try to squeeze in there an internship. So it will be a good opportunity for you also to understand the Dutch and the European market, but also to potentially pave the way for the first contract that will be coming after your graduation. So I think I've spoken a lot. I hope you're still with me. And we're moving on to our next slide. So if you decide to go ahead with your MBA journey, who could be your potential classmates? And we've prepared a slide for you with information about our current class profile. So our students that have started this year in January. We have in total 115 students. You see the percentage of international students is really high. That's actually the standard of every year. We really like, and speaking also on behalf of the admissions team, our class to be as diverse as possible, because we do believe that the learning journey starts already from your classroom. It's very important for you to be able to share your experiences with your classmates, but also learn from them as well. The average age of our cohort is 30 years. We do have, of course, people joining that are a bit in the earlier stage of their professional career, so younger in age, but also others that have completed much more years of work experience. The average years of work experience you can see here is 7. We have 44% of our class as females, and there's always room for improvement in there, but we're also very proud about that number as well, of course. And people from 36 nationalities have joined our program this year. You see again the diversity in the cultural background of our classmates. The academic background of our students is again also very diverse. We do have quite a lot of people joining from engineering and business and economics background, but also quite a lot of people from humanities and arts, law and marketing. And we move forward with our next slide. So what are the things that you could do with your classmates outside the lecture rooms? And we do have quite a lot of activities in general throughout the whole year. First of all, we have student gatherings, and hopefully COVID allows, you will be able to have plenty of those. It's also a good opportunity to get to know each other, create stronger bonds with each other, and we see that every year actually that friendships are created throughout the year. Throughout the personal leadership development course, you will have different activities, and you can see here in this picture our students are trying to improvise probably with the music instrument. We do have also some bigger scale activities organized at RSM, such as a private equity competition. A lot of business schools participate in that. It's organized during November. Usually, of course, there's again an opportunity to get to know two fellow students, really see how their MBA journey is coming along, and also have the possibility to work your way to our prize. The MBAT competition is a joint business schools event, a sports event, and again it has the same idea of also having our students exposed on an international level, seeing how other students are dealing with their MBA years and create also a stronger network out of it. It's also very important. And the picture that is the sunniest, and I left it for last, it's from our study tour of last year to Greece, Athens, one of our destinations from of our study trips. And you can see our students are having a break, going for a walk in the sunny streets of Athens during under Acropolis and having fun. Hopefully enjoying the good weather for sure. So in terms of career opportunities, which is a really important part of our students' MBA journey. And this information that we have added on the slide for you comes from our latest employment report. So for the class that has graduated in 2021, we've also added a few points that we would like to cover for you while discussing in the slide. So you can see, first of all, that a lot of our graduates decide to stay in the Netherlands and in other destinations, other locations in Europe after their graduation. That happens for quite a few reasons. And the first one is connected with my first point, our first point here on the slide about Dutch language. The Dutch have been voted as the best non-native English speakers worldwide. So it's very easy for people who come from abroad and they complete a study such as an MBA program in the Netherlands to consider it home and also find their way through the Dutch market and land the contract that they would like to land, and not having the need to speak the local language. So there is, let's say, it gives them this flexibility. Of course, if you decide to stay for a longer period in the country, I would personally advise to invest a little bit and learn the language. It will make you feel more at home, absolutely. But for the first years of your stay here, and definitely to landing your first contract, this should not be a priority. The other reason that a lot of our classmates, a lot of our students decide to stay in the Netherlands is the flexible visa policy, and also the orientation year that is offered for them. So throughout the program, you will be offered an 18-month student visa. So let's say that you are admitted to the program, you come to the Netherlands in January, a little bit before the program ends, your starts. So your your student visa starts in January, and it lasts until the month of June the year after. So you have 6 months after the completion of the program with your study visa. And after that, you can make use of the orientation year. And this is an advantage that the Dutch authorities, the Dutch government has given to highly skilled internationals who come from abroad to complete a program in higher education, such as the MBA program, to stay in the country for 1 year and not having to worry about being sponsored by an employer. So you do not need a work permit to stay in the country. And it's important to mention that it is a guaranteed opportunity for you to stay in the country. It's not, you're not going to get into a lottery system, which happens with a lot of destinations. So you can take this opportunity within 3 years from the moment that you graduate. So let's say you would need to go back home for any reason, you can still, if you wish to come back to the Netherlands and find employment here, make use of this orientation year. Our career center, yes, I mentioned a little bit in our slide regarding the curriculum. What does the career center do for our students? But it does also do a lot for our alumni. And we do have, of course, a really big alumni network that we take pride of. There are a lot of events organized by our alumni chapters and our international chapters in 42 locations around the world. So it's also a good possibility for an opportunity for our graduates to get their network, to increase the network, absolutely. You also would have as an RSM alum access to our RSM job board for life. You have access to platforms such as the RSM Level Up, which is created by alumni, and they have added certain webinars there to help you out with maybe certain changes that you would like to do in your career or some internet prepping. This is, I think, one of the really important reasons why a lot of people decide to stay either in the Netherlands or in European destinations after the completion of their MBA program. And of course, we do have already a very diverse and international crowd, as I mentioned in the previous slide. So already 58% of our students who decide to join the program know already that they will be changing their location. 67% changed industry, 50% changed function, and it's also important to mention that 42% changed at least 2 out of those 3 elements. And we know that this is not a very easy journey. That's why we make sure that we have the necessary support ready for you when you need it, also during the MBA year, but also after you graduate. And just to give you an example to visualize a little bit where you could end up as an RSM MBA graduate, we've added here the profiles of recent alumni. So you can see also the location, so where they come from, pretty diverse. And you can also see that the vast majority of them have graduated recently, class of 2021 and 2020. You can see their current employers and their positions, just for you to get an idea as to what kind of companies are recruiting and participating in the RSM MBA year. So, and what do you need to do in order to start and become a member of our student cohort for the MBA year? So we do have, of course, our admissions eligibility criteria. We'll be covering together with Christina. What do we look for in the profile of a candidate, someone who has reached out to us with their CV assessment, for example, asking for a CV assessment? We would like our candidates to have at least a bachelor degree, so an undergraduate degree. Some of the students in the student cohort have a master's. Some people, a bit fewer, have a PhD, but the minimum we require is a bachelor's degree. We require also at least 3 years of postgraduate work experience, so after your graduation. Of course, in our cohort, we have people, as I mentioned previously, that have already much more years than that, but the minimum we require is 3. We also have as a mandatory requirement a GMAT or a GRE report, and it's also quite important to mention because we do get quite a lot of questions about that. So in order for the admissions committee to be able to offer a final evaluation of your profile, we would need your score and your official report from either GMAT or GRE exam. As a school, we don't have a preference. So make sure that you invest quite some time into studying it, and make sure that you have your report ready to submit it together with the rest of the information in your application details. English language proficiency is also very important for us. We do not require TOEFL or IELTS, but we have other ways throughout the admissions process to really see if you have the sufficient English level that we require from our students. And the last one, I left it on purpose as the last one because it's the only one that is not really measurable. It's the ability to contribute in a multicultural setting. And what do we mean by that? We would like to see our candidates being open-minded, ready to share their experiences with potentially their classmates, but also being able to listen and contribute in many ways into the learning opportunities of their fellow students. We would like to see your self-reflection, your communication skills, all that, and make sure that you do cover that in your application details. Christina, is there anything that you would like to mention or take it from here as your experience, as our experienced admissions officer?
Thank you, Maria. You mentioned a lot of things already and really good points. But basically, from me, it's just that once you have gathered all the information about our MBA program, after you have talked to one of our admissions managers and you're ready to apply, it's very simple. So you just need to go to our website. You can see the link here, apply. Just click at the apply button. It will take you directly to our application portal called Embark, and you will need to fill an online form. You will find questions not only personal, but also professional and academic related, and make sure you update everything and it's all the important information that we need to hear from you. Something that you may need to know is that you don't need to submit the application in one go. You can just go, make some changes, save it, return later, and once you're ready, you can submit it. So Maria, if you can just move to the next slide. Thank you. So let's talk about the required documents for the application. We will need from you one prepared essay. You will have two topics to choose from. They are related both with our mission statement and your motivations. Then you will need to submit your curriculum, your CV, and please make sure it's up to date. That's super important, and don't forget any steps within your career. During the online form, the system will ask you to submit the name and the email address of two referees. So we will request you to get two recommendations letters from professionals. Please make sure they are professional and not academic related. And I recommend you to choose someone that really knows you and supports you and that can provide really good feedback. As Maria mentioned, we will need your GMAT or GRE score to be sent directly to RSM. Here you can see the codes that the GMAT or the GRE website will ask you. For those who are taking the online test, the GMAT online test and not the in-person one, the website will ask you to search by the name of the school, so know the codes, just for you to be aware. And then we will receive the official scores. Then we will also need your official transcripts and diploma from your university. If these documents are not in English, we will need the translation, and needs to be a sworn translation, so just needs to be official, and then you can attach your original transcripts as well. And finally, we will need a copy of your passport. Just be sure that it's not expired, and if it will expire before January 2023, then we will need to receive a new one by September, so we can register you and register you in the program. And just below here, you can see our next deadlines. The next one is coming up very, very shortly, which is next week, Tuesday, the 8th of February, followed by the one in April, June, August, and October, and the last one, November. We recommend you not to leave the application for the last round. The sooner you apply, the better, just for you to make some plans. You will need to find an accommodation, prepare for the MBA. It's a very exciting experience, but also challenging. So I think it's better that you sure you will be moving to the Netherlands as soon as possible, right?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Christina. It's a really important thing that you mentioned here, that it's good to start with your preparations very early, because we all know that sometimes when we try to rush things can go wrong, and then get really stressed, and then yeah, it's not a very how can I say, pleasant experience. So definitely start early, since it's the beginning of the year. We have practically application rounds every 2 months, so
indeed,
opportunities to submit your application.
Indeed. If you can just move to the next. Yes, thank you. Perfect. So once you submit your application, we will receive it, of course, and the admissions committee will make a first evaluation. Then, if successfully, you will be invited for the Kira Online Talent Assessment, which consists in 2 videos and 1 written assessment. You will receive the link, so it's quite easy to register yourself. You need to set up your device, everything. You can practice as many times as you want. And once you're ready, you can record the assessment and then we will receive it. Potentially, you will also be invited for an admissions interview. And during the admissions interview, we will evaluate your motivations, your communications, and interpersonal skills. The interview will be conducted by one of our RSM members of the team. And from my side, from my experience, I write down some tips. So one of the tips is just go through your application, make a small SWOT analysis of yourself, find out your why you want to do an MBA, why at this moment in your career, why in the Netherlands, for instance. Then it's also very important to provide real life examples because we want to get to know you. So don't think that we want to hear the right answer. We actually want to know your opinion. And then address weak points. So it's also important to know your failures. Sometimes it's important as well, no, to get to know you and your resilience as well. And be yourself, basically.
Definitely, thank you. Just to mention one more thing about Kira. Thanks, Christina, because you mentioned a lot of valid points here. One of the things, actually not the only thing, that you should really take into consideration is the fact that you're working against the clock. And so make sure to use the tips that Christina shared with you, and also make sure that you practice before you start recording your responses. I know that many times it's really tempting when you have to describe a situation to give as many details as possible, but make sure, because you will be most likely asked, make sure to give a little bit of time for your learnings through that experience. It's also very important to add, and we would like to see that from you. So
exactly.
Fine.
Yeah, we will evaluate your cultural awareness, your resilience during the Kira, and also your written and communication skills. So indeed, it is an important assessment. Perfect. And finally, once Kira and the admissions interview is conducted, we will bring your candidacy to the admissions committee, who will evaluate your profile, not only your GMAT, but also your motivation, your goals, everything, basically. And then the admissions manager will inform you about the final decision. And at the same time, during the admissions committee, you will be evaluated for a scholarship. Maria is going to give you a few more details now, but that will be it. So just to quickly summarize, you will need to submit an application via Embark. Once the application is submitted, we will review it. We'll have a first evaluation by the admissions committee. If successful, we will invite you for Kira and for an admissions interview. And then the final decision will be made by the admissions committee, and the admissions manager will let you know.
Perfect. Thank you, Christina. Yes, regarding the scholarships, it is important to know that everyone who submits their application are automatically considered for receiving a scholarship, for being awarded a scholarship. So what happens is when you complete successfully, or when you go through successfully the first part of your evaluation, and we have the results of your Kira and your interview, and the admissions committee will check your profile, basically. And there, in the same meeting, we will discuss whether you will be admitted to the program, if you'll be given an offer letter from us, and also if you will be awarded a scholarship, and what is the type of scholarship you will be getting. RSM is offering quite some types of scholarships to our MBA candidates. The vast majority of them are based on diversity and merit. So these are the parts in your profile that we will be looking into and consider whether or not you will be offered a scholarship from us. And you find out in the same email that you'll be getting hopefully an offer letter from us, the reply as to whether or not you'll be offered a scholarship from the school. So yeah, these are contact details for our admissions managers. My colleague Kari Falk is taking candidates from Asia and Oceania. My colleague Charlene Bell is taking care of Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I am taking care of CV assessments and candidates from the Americas region. So please feel free to reach out ask your CV to be assessed as to know, first of all, if you're eligible to apply. If you have any questions regarding your profile, if you're thinking, having second doubts about your years of work experience or anything that has to do with the application process and the program itself, please do feel free to reach out. We'll be more than happy to help you out throughout your MBA journey. And we are ready to check your questions.
Yes. Yes, please feel free to start adding your questions, although we can see few already. I'm just going to start with a couple that are related to the GMAT score, if you don't mind. So someone is asking how much is the minimum GMAT score for required. We do not have a minimum score. We do have an average, which is 640, but I recommend you that if your GMAT score is not 640, you can request for feedback. So before you submit the application, you can send it to one of our admissions managers, Maria, Carrie, or Charlene, and they will evaluate you and they will provide you some feedback. But we do not have a minimum score. Then there is also another question related, Nathania, is GMAT score necessarily needed to be submitted together with my application? Yes, it is needed. However, you can submit the application without the GMAT, but you have to have a planned date of the test that you're going to take. So we will need it, but if there's a gap of 2 weeks between when you submit the application and when you're going to take the test, that's okay. So I hope that answered the question. I don't know if you want to add something here, Maria.
No, thank you very much for mentioning that. And I see we do get a few questions regarding sustainability throughout the academic year. Just to let you know regarding sustainability that, of course, we do have our advanced career concentration course on that. And one of the main courses, so the core courses you'll be having in Module 3, if I'm not mistaken, is regarding sustainability. But more importantly, sustainability is being used as a lens through which you check different aspects of business administration throughout the whole year. And of course, with different parts of the curriculum, such as the project time, as we said, is linked with the aspect of the topic of sustainability. Certain locations in our study trips that are really linked with innovation and green economy and sustainability. Also, you could cover your interest in sustainability, our electives, absolutely. And we do have also a lot of student labs. So one of them is called Net Impact, is involved in this sustainability aspect. And there are plenty of opportunities for networking. We do have, of course, a lot of our graduates that are working currently in sustainability related roles. So feel free to look them up on LinkedIn or ask us if we could connect you to some. And if possible, of course, we're more than happy to do that. And let me check. What is the weight of the GMAT score in the overall evaluation? Okay, that's a good question. So obviously, GMAT is a mandatory requirement, or GRE. So we would like our candidates to have that in order for the admissions committee to give, like we said, a final assessment, a final evaluation of their candidacy. Of course, we're dealing with people, and we're not just looking into numbers in their profile. So it's one aspect of your application. It is an important one. So please do make sure that you get your time of practice before you take the exam, so that you make sure you come closer to the average that we give as a benchmark to our students, to our candidates, which is 640 in GMAT points. But definitely, it's not the only thing that we're going to look into the profiles of our candidates. Absolutely not. That's why we have different aspects and activities, different assessments that you will have to go through in the application process that are related also to soft skills, such as the interview or the KIDA assessment, your essay as well that we mentioned. So there are a lot of things we're going to be looking into the profile of the candidate, and not just one. Definitely not. We look the whole profile of the candidate and then we decide.
Indeed, indeed. There's a question related to KIDA. Before recording your answers, if they have time to prepare for the answers. Yes, you do have, Alejandra, you will have plenty of time to practice. Even you can write down your answers, practice them, and then once you're ready, once you feel confident, then you can start recording yourself.
We have a question also regarding the recommendations and the application details. So as we mentioned, it is important for you to reach out to people from your professional network. So people that have worked with you, that know your work ethic, and know how you are working with teams, what are your strong points, any points that you could develop through the MBA program. So make sure that you reach out to these people and not someone that's for example, a professor during your study years. They don't need to send us a recommendation letter written. As Christina mentioned, they will have to fill in a form after you provide us with their name and their email address. The email address can be also their personal one, so it doesn't have to be of a business. We don't require that per se. So make sure that you take care of that in that way. And to be from your professional network, and to have at least 2 recommendations of people that really know how you work, and that it should take them for about 15 minutes to fill in the information that we need. And a recommendation letter is optional. They could upload it if they want to, but it's not necessary. Let's see.
Questions.
Does the school assist students in finding accommodation? Yes, we do have a housing team that is assisting our registered students into finding an accommodation. Basically, our team shares a lot of useful information and also links of agencies in the private sector that could accommodate people that come to the Netherlands and in Rotterdam. And in this case, you have to reach out to the agencies themselves. And also what our housing team does, that they try to connect outcoming and incoming students, so that they make sure, for example, if someone is finishing the program and is leaving, that they could maybe get some tips as to how to get an accommodation in the building that the person who's leaving used to live, or get some networking, let's say, in there as far as your accommodation is concerned. I don't know if you would like to add anything else, Christina, from your experience regarding housing.
We have Kirsten, our colleague, that she's super nice and helpful, and you will also receive a lot of information via the via the student hub. So over there as well, it's very useful. Then we have a question regarding the credits. How many credits are in the program, and how are the course workload to balance with possible internships? And maybe here, Maria, we can cover the possibility of having like the 16 hours work option.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Through your student visa, you'll be getting the possibility of work of maximum 16 hours per week throughout the MBA year. Being a one-year program and quite intense, we do not advise anyone to have a full-time or a part-time job during their MBA studies. It is a really big investment on many fronts, financial one, you invest a lot of energy and time in it. So see this as an opportunity, if you can, to really focus on developing your personal and professional skills. So having a work at the same time as all the workload from your MBA studies will definitely not be a good idea. You will have a lot of reports, exams, assignments to do, and a lot of networking opportunities will be lost if you have to divide your time between your work and your studies during the MBA academic year, for sure. What you could definitely do, and I mentioned also briefly while I was talking about the curriculum, is an internship, for sure. You could do that either by the end of the program, so starting in December, for example, and that not being part of our curriculum, it's also very flexible between yourself and your employer as to when to start and how long this internship will take place. Or you could start an internship by the beginning of module 5, for example, when you have your electives and the class attendance is a little bit lower in comparison to, let's say, the first 3 modules of the academic year. So this is what I would advise.
Perfect. Ayushi, sorry for my bad pronunciation. He's saying that there's different student clubs in the website. Is there any criteria or selection process in order to join these clubs?
Yeah, so basically, and Christina, feel free to jump in if you want to. For this year's cohort, just to give you an example, they've just started creating their student association, and they will be going through the different student clubs that will be available this year. It's totally up to the students to be as involved as they want. Last year, for example, we had a really passionate group about marketing, and they organize all kinds of workshops and webinars and talks and different sessions. So it's all the time, every year, better, up to the students to get as much involved as they want. But there's definitely information on the website about the student clubs. If you feel that you need more information on that, feel free to reach out.
Perfect.
I forgot something. Let me know, Christina. Perfect.
We have a few minutes left, so and we have a lot of questions, so we're just going through those. Lauren is asking if there are breaks in between terms or if the program is just continuously. Yes, Lauren, you will have some breaks in between. There are a few days of holidays. You also have the bank holidays itself, which we don't have much in the Netherlands, I have to say, compared to Spain. But yes, you will have some breaks for you to enjoy and have some relaxed time, or traveling as well within Europe perhaps, or visit your friends or family. So yes. What else?
Okay, that's also a good one. Is it possible to live in another city in the Netherlands and commute to Rotterdam for the class? If you could avoid that, I would say better try to find accommodation in Rotterdam or around the city. Of course, Rotterdam is not a very chaotic city. And like we said in the beginning, maybe if you remember, it's rather small for the second largest city in the Netherlands, but still, especially because during the first 3 modules, you'll be having a lot of class attendance. So every day from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 is basically like a job. And then you have to do your assignments after you finish with your class. So it will be a really heavy schedule. I would suggest to keep your commuting time as minimum as possible. So if you could find accommodation in Rotterdam, that would be great. And this is where it really helps to start with your application process really soon in the year, so that you know a little bit maybe which neighborhood you would like to live in Rotterdam, and start from there a little bit, getting more information about how to make sure that you get accommodation as smooth as possible when the program starts. Of course, like we mentioned, we have the housing team for that. It's offering quite a lot of useful information. And we do have also 21 apartments close to the campus that are given to MBA students. Of course, these are on first come, first served basis. So as you can imagine, some of the students who apply in the first application rounds are the one who will eventually get those. So that's also another thing to consider with regards to your application. If, of course, you would have to find accommodation a little bit outside Rotterdam, it's better than not having a place to stay. Absolutely not. But I would suggest if you could minimize this commute time, definitely it's going to help you.
Guillermo is asking, did many people defer due to COVID this year? If so, will that affect the cohort size for the next year? So yes, indeed, the number of students within the current class is a little bit lower than the previous year. However, I would say that this will make it to have a better experience for the student. Smaller sizes allows you to, smaller size classes allows you to be more proactive and more, you know, you can raise your hand and have the opportunity to meet all your colleagues. How many deferred? Not so many, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I also don't have the exact numbers at the moment, but we do have, of course, some people that were, for their own personal reasons, not really comfortable into traveling, and we completely understand that, of course. All the deferral decisions are on a case by case, taken into consideration, let's say, and also we check the personal circumstances, of course, of the candidate. So if this thing comes up, then of course we'll have to look into it with the rest of the admissions committee and decide. Of course, there is an opportunity to defer, but we always like to have a discussion with our students as to the reasons why. I think things are starting to show much better. Classes are in person right now. The campus is open. The restaurants and the entertainment and culture sector has opened in the Netherlands. So we hope that this is going to have a very positive impact, not only for our current students, but for the ones who are going to submit their applications for next year. So we have to stay optimistic, obviously. Yeah.
Perfect. Shall we cover the last question from Vikas? He's asking what kind of visa is allowed for accompanying family members.
Yeah. Absolutely, yes. So if you will be accompanied by your partner or children, you will be also getting, of course, support from our registrar's office into issuing a visa for you. You, as of course a student, will be sponsored by RSM getting the 18-month visa, as we mentioned. And at the same time, our registrar's office is going to be helping your partner and or children to get also their 18-month visa for staying in the country as well. And it's also good to mention that although the visa for the partner does not cover a work permit, it does give the opportunity to the partner to work at least 16 hours per week. So that's also an important information because, of course, we do understand that it is a really big venture to move all the way to the Netherlands for 1 year or more. So it is important for you to know also for your budget that there are opportunities for the partner as well to come and possibly have a part-time job. But it's best to check that with your employer because the visa of the partner does not cover the work permit for longer periods of work, let's say full-time.
Perfect. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for covering all the questions. We do have a couple of topics or questions more related, more individual. So we do recommend you to keep in touch with our admissions managers. Maybe Maria, you can share the slide of the contact details. So we do have Maria.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the Americas. So you're coming from the Americas, please reach out to her. Then we have Charlene Bell for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And then finally, we also have Carrie Falk. Here you can see the contact details for Asia and Oceania. So feel free to reach out to them, pop them an email, have a chat with them. They will provide you any information you may need. If you need to get in contact with our students, our current students or alumni as well, they will be able to put you in contact with them.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Christina, for that. And yes, please do feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to help. I think that this info session has come to an end. We really hope that we covered, if not all, most of your questions. Thank you very much for joining live and also for the ones watching the recording, for watching the video of our info session. We hope that you found it informative and hopefully we will continue the conversation via email or maybe see you during the application rounds.
Indeed. Thank you very much, all.
Thank you
Have
very
a
much.
wonderful day. Bye-bye.